We know next week is the NFL league meetings, and a lot of these proposals will be on the table. Of the major rule changes, which really involve, like you mentioned, replay and possibly, overtime rules. If there was one that you think really has a strong chance of being approved by the owners, which rule do you think will probably be passed next week?
Well, I think there's a couple. I mean, the one that that I like the most is, for some reason, we have a rule in the NFL: if you have a personal foul or an unsportsmanlike conduct foul during a scoring play or after a scoring play, there is no option to enforce that penalty on the try. And
Yes.
I get that when the try was always from the 2-yard line, whether you attempted a 2-point try or a 1-point try. But I made the point that they needed to give the offended team the option, if it was against the offense, to put it on the kick try, because you'd obviously go, instead of, snapping from the 15, you'd march it back 15 and snap from the 30. And
Wow.
so you'd be looking at like a 47-yard attempt. So it really has an impact there, where it has so little impact if you just roll it over onto the kickoff. And I think that clearly will pass. I mean, there are a couple other little penalty enforcement issues that that nobody really cares about or knows about. Where are you going to force a penalty when you have fouls on both teams that occur after a change of possession? I mean, those things to me are cleanups. The big thing is what's happening in replay and the proposals, two of them, the proposals that are going to allow replay to get involved in pass interference. But I think they fall short. And I think the committee probably knows they fall short, because while they propose that replay can get involved in pass interference anytime during the course of the game, and also player safety, roughing the quarterback or illegal use of the helmet anytime during the course of the game, it's only when the penalty is called. And so it doesn't really correct the big issues from last year. Certainly it doesn't do anything to change the outcome of the championship game on the pass interference in New Orleans that was not called. The hit on Alvin Kamara, which was a vicious helmet-to-helmet hit, it wasn't called, so replay couldn't get involved in that. So I look at that and say both proposals fall short. I think that when the owners get together and see that it doesn't do anything to remedy the big situations that came up last season, I don't think it'll pass. I think it'll get tabled, and probably tabled until the May meeting. And maybe in the May meeting they can come up with something that is maybe more like what the Alliance does, and having that eighth official, essentially. And he is an official and one of the crew members. And if he can make a change in real time on a pass interference or a personal foul situation, if he can do it within the time frame before the ball is next snapped, do it, get it done, move on. And so maybe that will get discussed and in the May meeting. But I know that Roger Goodell wants something done. Mm-hmm. And so when Roger wants something done, usually something's going to get done. Right. But I just think what they have on the on their plate right now in terms of proposals falls too short.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.